Okay, done. Marriage. May you live long and happily together. Is she here yet? Yes. I understand. Oh, for your son. For this tutorial, we're going to find a spouse for your son as well. Okay, well, he could have married her too. Okay, he's 18 years old. We will do the same thing. We're going to do... Actually, we can do prestige. How old is he? 18. I want him to actually start having kids. So... a lot of Irish nearby. Welsh nearby. Oh, this is Duchy of Burgundy. This is going to be Craven. Ugh, generous, ambitious. Oh, Craven's a terrible trait. But Duchy of Burgundy is a great alliance, and she's 21. Unyielding defender, misguided warrior. So she's going to give me a military slight boost, but she happens to be better at diplomacy and stewardship. I don't like that Craven trait. But it's not congenital. It doesn't mean our children are going to be Craven. But that Duchy of Burgundy alliance is huge. It's huge. Let's just keep looking before we commit. Penland, I think this is Wales too. I'm not exactly. Yes, it is Welsh here. Where's she? Franconian. Who else? Ooh, Saxony. She's a bit old though. Arrogant. Was there anybody else? Let's just go quickly here and see if there's somebody actually. Was there someone here who was strong? No. I don't know if it was different because it's for me or my dad. Nothing. Okay. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do... Well, I guess I'm only 18. Do I want to take a younger... You know what? I'm going to do this one. I'm going to do the Bohemian. She's 10. But we don't get married yet. Calm, humble, yeah, this is good. And we get the absolutely amazing alliance. We get quite a bit of... Brian gets 400 prestige. Yes. We are going to do the Duke of Bohemia. Excellent. Good. So now I have an alliance right here with this Welsh who's right across for immediate wars. And I have, for my son, the Duke of Bohemia. And it does take a time for his soldiers to march across. But I think it'll be worth it. All right. Family is important. The player heiress always comes from your dynasty, most often from your house. In the future, it won't hurt to keep an eye on your family and their line of succession. Depending on their succession laws, you might end up inheriting titles along with land. Okay. Not everyone in your dynasty will be landowners, but every plot of land on the map has an owner, which goes into kind of like why people were so eager to move to the New World, because literally every inch of land in the old world was owned by somebody. There was nothing left. Sometimes the owner is you, sometimes it's one of your vassals, and sometimes it's another realm entirely. Okay. Most titles are structured together in a pyramid-like faction using title tier. So county makes you a count or countess. Duchy is a duke. So each one would be a count, because this is part of a... well, it's a different title because it's Irish. It's called Petty Kingdom, but this is actually a duchy. So I'm actually the Duke of Munster. Yeah, but this is... yeah, so because I control these two together, this is part of a duchy, I'm now the Duke or Petty King. If I controlled all of Ireland, or a certain amount of it, I could become the king. And if I got even bigger amounts, like for example, all of Britannia, I'd become the Emperor of Britannia. All right, every tier belonged to a title, one rank up the chain. Every county is technically part of a duchy. Every duchy is technically part of a kingdom, etc. Up. There are many dynamic names for these. Oh, here it is here, because here it is right here. Oh, sorry, I didn't even see this. So a Petty Kingdom is a duchy. So I am the Duke of Munster. In Ireland, it's the Petty Kingdom of Munster. There are barons. Now, barons are actually the people who rule these things. So this is actually a mayor, but there's like barony of Vedafjord, but there's actually this guy here. The Earl, the Count, runs the whole county, but there's actually each one's like a barony. They're unplayable. You can't start the game as a baron and move all the way up. You have to start. The lowest you can start is a count, like or Earl, whatever. If you're in Ireland, it's an Earl. Anywhere, if you're anywhere else in France, it's a count. All right, we say technically because as Crusader Kings lets you play with history, there is no way to guarantee that a king is actually in charge of all the titles that his kingdom is supposed to contain within the borders. We call this title hierarchy de jure, and if the structure has been broken, it's often possible to declare war over such territories. All right, change to the duchy map mode. So here's duchy titles. So here's the duchy or petty kingdom of Munster, the duchy of Leinster, Meath, Ulster, and Connacht. So this territory right here is actually part of the de jure duchy of Munster, which means I have theoretically a right to rule this because I'm the duke. So this is technically my land, but I don't control it at the moment. If you switch to duchy, you can see that as the ruler of the Duchy of Munster, the county of Desmond, this one here, should be part of my realm, but it's not. Return to the realms map, which is this one here, hotkey E. I understand. The de jure title of Munster consists of 3 counties. Their names should be visible on the map. Okay, Thomond, held by me. Desmond, held by my Earl. And Ormond, Desmond here, held by not my Earl. And Ormond, which is my Earl. Okay. These counties are smaller pieces called baronies, which we've already kind of discussed. Okay. Holdings represent settlements in your land. We gotcha. Okay. Holdings provide different levels of taxes and levies as well as buildings. So here's my barony of Luminiac. I don't know how to pronounce that at all. I'm just going to call it Lumen. It's not very important that you build right now, but we suggest you start by upgrading Bastion's Curtain Wall. So here's your barony. This is my castle. This is my capital, my main castle where most of my armies come from. I mean, armies do come from the city. Armies do come from here too. They can raise armies here. And this guy gives me some troops as well. But a good percentage of my troops are going to be coming from my personal castle right here. So this castle already has bastions and curtain walls, which gives me a certain amount of tax, a certain amount of fort level, which is like how long I can hold out in a siege, and garrison, which is how many levies are stationed here. There's other upgrades you can do, which increase different things, increase your taxes, increase your levies, different options. So this is saying upgrade my bastion and curtain wall. So if I upgrade, here I'm at tier 1. If I go to tier 2, it's going to double my taxes I can earn each month from my castle. It's also going to add an extra fort level from 1 to 2. And my garrison's going to go 1/5. It's literally doubling everything. And it's also going to give me a supply limit increase. So supply limit dictates the amount of soldiers you may have in a barony as determined by the barony's terrain and development. So if you have a standing army there, if there's not enough food in the barony or the area, they'll start to starve and you'll get attrition. It increases the supply limit, which allows me to have friendly troops here and eat off the land better. I'll suffer less attrition by having troops here. Okay, so I will upgrade. It takes 3 years, and we will go. Okay, close this. And it's gonna the ticker's here along the bottom, and it's gonna turn blue as it goes across. All right, well done. It will take some time for the building to be ready. Luminec wasn't built in a day. Okay, we gotcha. All right, every holding provides taxes to their holder. If that holder is a vassal, they will also pay taxes to their liege. Taxes provide income of gold, which we already discussed. Obligations can affect how high or low these are. And times of war also affect the level of control in a county, which in turn affects taxes. Okay. Okay, we can go to the next one. As a ruler, you are likely to be the liege of at least one vassal. These rulers are within your realm and have sworn fealty to you. So I am, here it is here. Here's my vassals. We're going to do this with this, but I just want to show you here. My vassal number 1 is my Earl. He controls these 3 baronies, and the other one is the mayor of this city right here. He's also my vassal. Okay, open the realm. There's a list of your current... Oh, here it is here. Same thing we just did. So here's my Earl. Okay. He's a powerful vassal, which is indicated by that little fist there. That just means he's going to expect certain things from me. He gives me taxes. He gives me troops, but he expects certain things back. And here's the second one, which is the mayor of this little town right here, Innis. The mayor of Innis. And again, he gives me a little bit more taxes than this guy does, but a lot less troops. So you can see the difference here. At the top of the list is Ormond, the ruler of Ormond. The land, which you can see, is an earldom. And the other one is the mayor, yeah. So go here for an overview of things such as your vassals, current opinion, whether they're considered a powerful vassal or not, and the levels of taxes and levies they provide. It's worthwhile keeping your vassals happy. This keeps them out of schemes and factions. So yeah, if this guy is happy, he's less likely to join a faction. The faction might say, oust me from the dukedom and give it to somebody else. Like, whatever. It could be a million different options for factions. Who knows what it could be? That's just one example. But the more they like you, the less likely they are to join. And the more likely they are to join your schemes against other people. No matter how mighty a ruler or character is, if your realm unites against you, either to depose you through war or just to murder you while you sleep, your reign is bound to be cut short. Alright, some of your vassals might serve on your council, making their opinion extra important. And that's what this means. Powerful vassal, one of the things they expect is to be on your council. Alright, vassal limit. Here it is here. There is a limit to how many vassals you can comfortably be in charge of before your realm becomes unwieldy. Go beyond this vassal limit, affects taxes and levies. So yeah, I can control 20 vassals, which means I can have all these, pretty much everything in Ireland under my control, okay? Once that gets too much, I'll start hitting penalties, and that's when you have to start creating sub-rulers like other dukes to control, like the duke here. You control the duke, but the duke would then control these two, so it's delegating roles type idea. It doesn't matter for the tutorial, but when you start to build your own kingdom, be mindful of growing too fast. Okay, realm and domain. Your realm is the complete body of land and titles that you own, including the area held by your vassals. Right now, for you, this means the counties called earldoms, due to Irish culture, of Thomond and Ormond. When domain is used, we are instead referring to the land that you own personally without vassals. Okay, so your realm is this. I'm the Duke here of Luminac. This is my realm, but my domain is just this. I only have one county under my belt, even though I'm earning benefits from being the Duke. Note that there's a limit to how much land you can hold personally, which is the domain limit here. I think we discussed this already, but I can control 5 domains, like 5 counties, safely myself without incurring any penalties. If you go above, it's a good idea saying to grant titles to, for example, what I typically do is if there's family members, I pick something to increase my my house. You can do, if you have a brother, if you have an uncle who's not landed, you want to give them some land, you can usually pick them. Otherwise, I usually tend to pick my knights who fought for me in battles. It's just a little bit of role play there a bit, but that's what I tend to do. If I don't have any family, no one to go through, I usually pick my knights and give my knights a couple land because they're already loyal to you. They fought with you. Usually their opinion of you is already high to begin with. Okay. The council. Managing a realm is a lot of work. As a ruler, you have the help of your council. Oh, I didn't get a chance to read that. These can be vassals or members of your court, and they act as your trusted advisors. Open the council. Okay, here, sorry. Counselors can be set to work, and they do different things. You can change the counselor's task by clicking on the button near the portrait. So each one has 3 options. You cannot always use 3, but you can typically always use 2 of 3. So here they are here. For example, my bishop, who doesn't like me very much, can do religious relations, which is his standard. That's what it's set to automatically, which gives me piety. It also increases theocratic ruler opinion. I guess the Pope, the way the Pope likes me goes up. How much the Pope likes me, I suppose that's what it means. Now, the side effects of just having this on standard is increases my vassal opinion. So they might just randomly have this guy like me more because he sees I'm pious, but depending on if he's a low skill, it could have a negative and can cause loss of piety, for example. Another one he can do is the famous one, the fabricate claim. I used to be the diplomat, but now it's changed to the bishop. So the bishop will actually, you can set him to any of these counties and he'll research history to try and find a hidden claim for you to give you casus belli, which allows you to attack, which we're going to get into a different, but I'm just showing you different options that you can do. For example, the steward collects taxes and gives you a tax bump, or he can help with construction. Your military guy raises levies, or he can train knights. So there's a lot to go through here, each one, but it's definitely worth exploring. Okay, so I understand. Schemes. Now, schemes are to do with your intrigue and your spy. Schemes are long-term goals aimed at another character. They can have hostile, like murder, abduction, or positive, like befriend. So open the intrigue. Click on schemes. Okay. A good time to use a scheme might be when you find the line of succession not being as clear-cut as you like. One way to get ahead is simply remove the competition quietly and with no witnesses. Murder schemes come with a heavy risk of discovery. If your attempt goes awry, it will make your character unpopular, especially with your target. Okay. The sway scheme is made for increasing opinion someone has of your character. Let's try it. Open the council view. Okay. Right-click and court chaplain. So that right now, my priest, my bishop, does not endorse me. Does not endorse my dukedom. You need him to like you by either giving him gifts or by doing this, and you click on sway. Sway. Or I could seduce him if I wanted to have a personal relationship. But we're going to do sway. Here it is here. So, there's a 66% chance that it's going to work. The scheme is successful. If it's successful, he will increase his opinion of me by 25. Expected time to complete scheme is 14 months. Every month, there's a predicted chance of 70% to progress based on scheme power versus scheme resistance. All right, we're going to click start. Excellent. Once set in motion, your scheme will slowly progress over time. The time before conclusion is reached will vary depending on its success chance, which can be affected by relevant skills. Okay. This case is my diplomacy. Okay, open intrigue highlighted. Here it is here. You can see it. Sway Armadak, 66% chance. And here's the progress here. Sometimes scheme can give rise to secrets. Ooh, hooks and secrets. If you catch someone trying to commit murder, it's probably in their best interest to make you sure you keep it quiet. You can also blackmail them and gain a hook. Hooks represent a favor you can call in with a particular character, encouraging or forcing them to do your bidding. As you play, you'll find many different ways to gain and use hooks. When you start playing, experiment with it. So hook could say like, okay, I saw a guy having an affair, I found out. Now, I'm not going to expose him, but I'll get a hook, which means that guy, I can say to him, if he's account, I want now more taxes from you. And he has no choice because you're going to use hook. He has to agree. It's automatic. It's not negotiable. All right. The weak hook can be used for a number of things. One is, here it is here. Okay, we just discussed this. Okay. One is to increase the obligation set for the feudal contract you have with the feudal vassal. Okay, so let's go to hooks and secrets. Okay, I got a hook. It just gave me one. All right. To access the menu for changing a feudal contract, go to your vassal list in the realm view, or right-click his portrait and choose Modify Feudal Contract. Modify Feudal Contract. All right, here it is here. So here's the thing here. I can click Use Hook, and I can do something. Do I want more taxes? Do I want more men? I mean, he's giving me 47 men, but he's only giving me 2 gold. If I click on 0.2, it'll go to 0.3. If I click on this, it's actually significantly more soldiers. I think the soldiers is more benefit than just the gold. From 0.2 to 0.3, I think I'd rather click on more levies. Okay. So you click on Use Hook, and you click on Modify. I've used my hook, he's now going to give me more soldiers to increase my army. War is an essential part of Crusader Kings. There's a lot of concepts to cover, but for now, let's touch briefly on some of them. So the most important thing in any war are the battles, which are fought by armies. Most of your soldiers will come from levies, but you expand your army by employing men-at-arms. Okay, so men-at-arms here, this is your levies. This is just like your peasants. Because you can see here, he's like the peasant garb with like a pitchfork. I have 6 knights, but now men-of-arms are your professional soldiers. Okay. When war starts, you'll be able to raise your armies from the screen via Raise All Armies. Okay. When the war is over, you'll be able to disband them with the Disband All Armies. Rallying points, which is set here in my capital, are mustering grounds for my troops. You can actually you can change it, or you can set multiple rallying points. Like, for example, if this is under siege, you can set a rallying point here in Ormond, and all your troops will be raised in Ormond. Okay? To start a war, you'll need a legitimate reason, a casus belli against another ruler. There are various ways to obtain a casus belli. You might have de jure titles that make you the rightful liege of your target. You might inherit claims, or you can pursue a holy war. For example, if Desmond was not Catholic, they were whatever other, or some kind of sub-Catholic, not sub, but like whatever offshoot of Catholic, I could create a holy war against them because I'm just like regular, whatever you want to call it, straight, plain Catholic. Although these are the most common, there are dozens of different types of casus belli for you to discover and use as you play. Actually, we kind of glossed over this man-at-arms. I kind of want to just click on this to show you. So, man-at-arms Cost gold initially. Okay, for example, let's say light footmen. That's something easy to do with light footmen because they're the least expensive. Okay, so they're skirmishers. They counter heavy infantry. So if this guy or whoever was to field armored footmen like heavy infantry, these guys would have a bonus. They also have a terrain effect, which means they get better damage and toughness if they're in forest. Taiga, I believe, is northern, like more northern than this, like more like up here, like northern tundra type of area, as far as I understand, like rocky trees, cold. And then there's jungle because these are light footmen. They have a damage of 11, toughness of 16, pursuit, which means how good they are at chasing down retreating enemies, and screen, which means they basically run up first and they screen your army, doing damage while your main troops get into position. That's the point of a screen. Okay, so we're actually going to create this. So full maintenance, when this army is raised, it'll cost me 0.45 a month. Okay, so this is now 2.6. It's fine, but when I raise them, this is going to drop by 0.45. Unraised, just to keep them in their barracks, it costs me 0.15. Okay, so I'm going to take a hit here for sure, but they're much better than your standard levy. So I'm actually going to click create. I don't know if it's going to tell me to do this later on. I don't remember, but I'm going to click this now. Done. So it's going to start off with 5. It's going to slowly tick up to 100 on its own. You don't have to do anything. And then once we go to war or armies are raised, whatever's here will all join my army. Okay, almost there. I'm pausing. Soon we'll let you unpause the game. There are just a few things left to cover, to go over. Okay, firstly, it's important to know there are 5 different speeds. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Click the hotkeys. Secondly, for certain important events, the game will auto-pause for you. There's nothing wrong with playing at lower speeds. Increasing the speeds when things are quiet, slowing it down when you go to war. Generally recommend you pause the game when inspecting menus or faced with tough decisions. Okay, no problem. All right, start the ticking of time. Unpause the game using the spacebar by clicking the play button. This will let days, months, and years go by. Armies told to do so will move, events will occur on the screen, letters will be sent, and characters will age. Find a speed that's comfortable for you. You can always change it later. I typically play on 3. Even at war, I go 3. So, you know, if you're really bored, there's nothing going on, you can speed up a bit, but 3 is a good, good place to be. Okay, what now? Now, as a first task, let's remind you of your neighbor, the Earl of Desmond, who his rightful liege truly is, yours truly, this guy, King Merchand MacDonach of Munster. And I totally butchered that. If it happens to expand your realm, so be it. Using the character interaction system that we went over earlier and selecting him via the map, declare war on the ruler of Desmond. You should already have a valid casus belli, as his title is de jure part of my dukedom or petty kingdom. Okay, so we go to this dude. How is he? He's got 476 troops. Just to show you, we have 624 with some elite quality knights. All right, so we're going to click on this. Right click. We're going to click Declare War. Seize the Earldom of Desmond. Click on that. You gain the contested country. So here we go. So this is the Declare War screen. All right. I have 2 allies, which is from my marriage and my son's marriage. You can call them in. You don't have to call them in. The more you call them in, there's opinion things that happen when you call in allies. Again, you don't have to do it. If it's an easy war like this, it might be better not even to do it. So the objective is the Earldom of Desmond. You gain contested county, which means here, Earl Muradoc of Desmond becomes your vassal. So in this case, I will not become the Count of or Earl of this Desmond. Earl Muradec. Oh, it is. Sorry, I'm confusing it. I'm a goof. Okay. No, it's not. Sorry, the names just got me all confused. Sorry. So Earl Muradec of Desmond becomes your vassal. So he stays the count. He just becomes under my dukedom. Okay. Ally share. I will get 400 or a share, but since I'm going to be the only ally, it's all going to go to me. Prestige for winning the war. I'll gain some prestige for winning a battle, a war. Increases his opinion of his allies based on the contribution. I have to spend. He will spend He will lose prestige by losing the war. I will gain 40 fame, which goes into here. The allies share 400. Okay, that's fine. Here it is here. Their military strength is vastly inferior to mine, and it's going to cost me 100 prestige points to declare this war. Okay, we're still on pause. I'm going to declare war. I kind of wish I would get this earldom, but this is how it's a de jure fight, so it just goes underneath my dukedom here, under my petty kingdom. Okay, declare war. There we go. War is declared. I understand. So now here, you have successfully declared war. Next, you should rally your armies. A button has appeared at the bottom of your screen to help you, but you can also do this from your military view. Wherever your rally point is, in this case in Thomont, that's where your army will gather and await your instruction. Note, you will have to unpause the game for your army to gather more than a handful of men. Leave it a few days for the army to form. Okay. So here's here. Now we're at war. This red is what we are after. Okay? It's showing you, it's glowing red to show you your who you're at war with. Okay? This icon here is my sway scheme against my bishop who doesn't like me. This is the raise all armies buttons I was talking about. And this is the war score type thing. So we're going to click one thing at a time. We're first going to click raise armies. Okay, here. It starts off with 11. This 11 is my knights and a couple of guys. Maybe it's these guys too. Yeah, it's probably my knights and my footmen. But because the game was paused, I never raised anymore. Now here's that other button is the war score here. Held objectives, which is this is the objective. Once I hold this, this will tick into my war score. War score from battles. If I beat him in a battle, my war score will go up. Sieges. If I take, I mean, it's only one county, so this is the both. In this case, held objectives and this is going to be the same thing. And then there's prisoners. If I capture prisoners when I take this, it pumps my war score up. I need to have a war score. You pretty much need a war score of 100, with some exceptions. There are some exceptions for that, which we're not going to get into right now. But otherwise, you need a war score of 100 to enforce demands. If you think it's not going good for you and you're about in the middle as a stalemate, you can click white peace and there's penalties for that, or you can surrender. Okay, we're going to close this. I understand. Now, okay, to move the army, left-click the army on the map and right-click where you want to go. Perhaps the enemy barony. Okay, so we're going to go and raise our armies. Here it goes. Here, see? 623. That's it. We're raised. It only takes a couple of days. Now, they have 500 men. We are actually going to click right there. And now here, it's paused. Okay, I understand. This here, potential battle in 20 days. This means it's going to take me 20 days to march this red line here. And you can actually see the supply limit. You can see how long it's going to take me to get there, 19 days, and the terrain, wetlands, and whatever bonuses or issues that's going to come with that. Like, for example, if my certain type of man-at-arms has a bonus for wetlands, that's going to take an effect. Now, this thing here, it's just like it's not 100% guaranteed. This is just an estimator. So potential battle, you will probably win because I have a better commander and I personally am leading the armies. I have more commander army traits, but I'm defending. They're defending in a wetlands, which means it's a negative. They're defending in a wetlands. Excuse me. So it's a negative effect towards this, but there's more positive effects than negative effects. I should be winning this battle. Now the army is moving. It's probably heading into battle with enemy forces. This can be a head-on encounter with other armies or the start of a siege. Battles will happen automatically if they cross paths. You don't have to click engage. If they walking this way, you're walking this way, you bump into each other, it's a war, a battle. Similarly, sieges occur if I walk and I stop my army in this territory, it'll automatically start a siege. You don't click on go, it just does it by itself, or you can walk through it. You do not have to do a siege if you don't want to. Okay, let's go. Unpause. Oh, whoop. Pause. It also, this is auto pause with these blue and red stripes here. It automatically paused it for me. This was not me. Okay. With my marriage to Petty Queen Hunyid, God, sorry Welsh people, the realm expects us to throw a suitably extravagant wedding celebration. It is well within my rights to collect a royal aid duty as part of this, but some may consider it tasteless to lay an extra heavy tax during a time of jubilation. Here's two options, and everything has a consequence. Of course, I will collect it. Who pays for their own wedding? 75 gold from the county or my dukedom. I'll let my subjects enjoy the festivities without worry or care. I will absolutely be picking the second one. I have 700 gold. I'm very fine. Even if I get into a little bit of income deficit during this war. I have more than enough in my bank, my coffers to hold me over. I will let my subjects enjoy festivities without worry or care. Done. So it gave me a boost to prestige. I much more want that than the 75 gold. Okay, as you see the white there to see. Now, here's the next thing. While it was red, I still had a chance to change direction. I could have canceled my movement. Okay, but to prevent like armies just like, you know, like moving constantly, not being able to ever catch them in terms of a war, what they've done is to have this feature where this turns white. Now that it turns white, I am now dedicated to this move. I cannot cancel this march. No matter what, when I click on pause, I will be marching into this barony and fighting this war. I cannot get out of it.